Welcome back to the End of the Fourth Football Podcast. It is me, your host, B-Hizzy, aka Brennan Hurst. I am joined, as always, by Prez, The Prez, aka Chris Mullaney. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
And this is it. This is week 4. It's just about, would be a quarter pole of the season, would be done after this week a couple of years ago, but this is 17 games now, so it's not quite. But we're nearly there, quarter of the season done. It just goes too quick. I don't like it.
I know it's. It's one of those things we would complain if it wasn't long enough.
Yeah. Well, before we get into this week's games, we do have some business to attend to. The pick'ems and the results from last week. So, I went 9-7. I think that's my second best week so far. I thought I was going to do better than that, so I'm kind of disappointed. Chris, you're 6-10. Rough showing.
Very bad.
And our guests have done the best so far of anybody, or just your wee lassie. 11-5 she went this week. So we'll see if our guest this week, that's Coach Slick, aka Stevie Probert, if I'm not incorrect. He's not joining us for the preview, but he will join us on the review show for Sunday Night Football. So we've got that at least. But he's making picks for us this week. Scorching Six. I should have put a bet on. I went 5-1.
Oh,
I couldn't believe that. If I'd just gone one the other, I don't know what it was. I think it was the Chiefs I got wrong, and where would you really see that happening? You know what I mean? Exactly. But yeah, I went 5-1. Chris, you went 3-3, as did Emily. And on locks, I finally am on the board. I'm now 1-2 on locks. Chris, you were wrong this week. And the guests were 1-0, as always. So the all-time standings are the guests and myself are just joint at the top with a record of 24, 23-1. That's we're both tied there. Chris, you're just one game behind us, 23, 24-1. So it's tight at the top there. I'm gonna have a good week. I'm gonna pull away this week, so I'm looking forward to it. Scorching Six, I'm 9-9, and I'm looking at this maths when I'm calculating. I'm like, is this right? But yes, that is right. It's 18 games we've picked so far through 3 weeks. But Chris, you are 6-12. And considering this is your segment, your idea, not a good showing for your gambling advice.
I know, but slow starter.
That's it. Still plenty of season to go. The guests are just in front of you at 7-11. And then on the locks, me and you are both 1-2, and the guests are 3-0. So we've got some work to do to catch up. But let's do it. Let's get into our games for this week. This is our week 4 preview. So Thursday night football tonight. Dolphins at Bengals. And I think that the biggest, the first takeaway from this game is that the Dolphins defense played very valiantly versus Josh Allen and the Bills offense in that heat. They played about 90 snaps in, obviously what was, about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm not too sure what is here. It's probably 40 odd degrees. I don't know the conversion of. I used to know it because I used to do engineering, but I don't know it anymore. So, what do you think about the Dolphins defense?
The Dolphins defense is for real,
and
as they always say, when you go down to Miami in September, you're not just playing Miami, you're playing the weather as well. And me and you both have jobs, and we find it hard, and we probably only wearing a shirt and trousers. I mean, they've got big pads on, and
you've got to run about.
They've got to move, so it's it's hard. If it's hard for us, imagine these big, and it's not as if they're wee thin guys. These are big, 300+ pound.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you kind of see this from a lot of Florida teams, the tactical decision, because the home team can pick what uniforms they're wearing, and the away team obviously wears the opposite in response. And you see, kind of at this time of year, you see Florida teams all wear white at home, and then the visiting team wears their road, which is usually a darker color and attracts the heat. So it's a good tactical move. You know what I mean? That is the decision when it comes down to it. But very, very good decision by the Dolphins. I don't know if it played too much of an effect because the defense was on the field a lot, and regardless of what you're wearing, whether it's white or you're wearing a lot of fans onto your naked body, it makes no difference in that heat, I don't think.
What you do in your spare time is your own business.
Exactly. I told you some stuff off air in confidence, so you don't repeat it, please. But in contrast to this Dolphins defense playing 90 snaps, the offense is going to be rested, and I think that is a big plus heading into a short week, Thursday night football, that kind of thing. So looking good for them. The second thing I had is that the Bengals defense probably had their best showing of the season so far, and it was against Joe Flacco. They had 2 picks and a 53.8 passer rating, which is that's a good showing. I mean, it is against Joe Flacco and the Jets offense, but still a good way to rebound for the Bengals there.
Yeah, I mean the Bengals have had a good. They were unlucky week 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unlucky week 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think last week against the Jets, I don't want to take too much away from it because it was the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I think this week they're playing I'm not going to say world-class defense, but they're playing a decent defense. So let's see how they actually, perform. I still stick by my comment I made 2 weeks ago. Joe Flacco is not elite.
No. Nah.
And he's made to look elite by his receivers and his tight end and,
1 minute 55 on the clock.
This is the problem. If you're elite, you don't need 1 minute and 55. You need, 35 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think the only other question heading at this game is the Bengals O-line. They protected Joe Burrow a little bit better, but I think that's down to the Jets. We did say this on the review show. The Jets non-existent pass rush, and the Dolphins pass rush has been improving pretty steadily. Melvin Ingram has been a difference maker on that pass rush and at the D line. So, that's a good that's a factor. It's going to be an interesting battle. I think. Two teams which are the stock is rising. People are now beginning to see that the Dolphins are for real, obviously, with their statement win against the Bills last week, and then the Bengals, now defending AFC champions, coming back, beating the Jets, and are hopefully getting their season on track now. So, going to be an interesting matchup. I think this could be a sneaky good game for a Thursday night. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm pretty excited. I am working tomorrow, only till 9, so. And I've got some juice, so I'll be pretty I'll be fine. I'll just go to sleep when I get in tomorrow.
I'll be in my bed for about 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to sleep before it. I think I'll probably go to bed about 8ish and then wake up for it. So.
No, I'll be in bed the same time Emily goes to bed.
My final bit of analysis, actually meant to put this with the Dolphins defense point, was Xavier Howard only allowed Stephon Diggs to have 40 yards on 4 catches last week, which is a good showing. So you'll probably see him matched up with Jamar Chase, who's been kind of like through the first couple of weeks. I don't think he's had a touchdown past 2 weeks. Or no, I think he had one last week. But it wasn't against Sauce Gardner, who kind of shut him down really. So this is gonna be a good one. I think this is a really good Thursday night matchup. You can check this out on Prime Video or Game Pass or Sky Sports.
Yes.
Do you want to pick a winner for this one?
I will go. I'll go Bengals.
Yep. Cool, then. I'm going to take the Dolphins on this one. I think they're going to keep rolling. I think it's going to be close. I think that interesting. I think it's going to be close. And I do know for sure that Stevie is picking the Bengals, I think, as well. Because he said he would take the Dolphins if Tua was 100%. But it looks like the NFL have concluded their investigation. It seems like all concussion protocol rules were followed when investigating Tua's back spasms. So we'll see. We will see. But interesting game. And I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing Thursday night football and just watching football. I mean, I've not watched any Monday night games so far, and I watched Thursday night football in week 1, the kickoff game. So it's good to go less than a week without football, with a football fix.
Yes.
All right
That's why
then.
it's great working Saturday nights. I watch the college stuff.
Yeah, aye. All right then, let's go for the next game on the agenda, and it's Vikings at Saints, which is technically this is the first London game of the season. So, um,
This is a Scorching Six.
Scorching Six. All right then.
We have the Vikings -3. The Saints are terrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is it. The Saints are terrible,
Yeah.
and the Minnesota pulled it out the bag last week against Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see the Saints doing anything near what Detroit did.
Yeah.
I think if they go with Jameis, they
Mm-hmm.
may as well just walk over to Harrison Smith and the corners, and you know
Hand it back to him.
those linebackers will go. There's the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. It's we were both in agreement on the review show of the Saints. I think shut Jameis down, and because Andy Dalton can be serviceable. And I don't really think Andy Dalton's ceiling is much different to Jameis Winston's ceiling. Especially when Jameis Winston's got a broken back. Jameis Winston right now, his ceiling it can't be much higher than Andy Dalton, considering he's got a broken back. That's worded there. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, but the Red Rifle.
Mm.
I mean, will the Red Rifle reload?
I think he's easily one of the best backups in the league. I mean, I can't think of anybody that would easily outshine him. Do you know what I mean? So he's got that experience. He's solid. That kind of thing. You just wouldn't trust him in big moments. Just like Kirk Cousins, really. Not trust him in big moments. And he wasn't convincing last week for me. And like I say, I think the Vikings have used up all their energy and their juice in their Week 1 Super Bowl win, because that's the only game that matters to them all year. And especially their fans. That's all they want, is to beat Green Bay. They could go 2-15, but if they sweep the Packers, that's a successful season to them. They're buzzing with that. They're very happy. The T-shirts get printed, the banners go up. They're happy with that. So
I'm very obviously my problem is obviously this week is it's not 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins or 6 o'clock Kirk Cousins. It's not 9:25 Kirk Cousins. It's 2:30 Kirk Cousins.
2:30 p.m. So what are we going to see from him?
We're going to see hopefully a fantastic performance. I'm hoping 400 yards, 7 touchdowns would be ideal.
Is it just because you've just got him on fantasy? Is that a factor?
Yes, it should be like that.
So to me, Kirk Cousins wasn't convinced, and that's why I'm getting rid of him to you on fantasy. Justin Jefferson's on thin ice as well. He's been locked up the past 2 weeks. But I think I may have jinxed the boy, saying he's the best player in the world right now after Week 1.
The thing is, though, I mean, he's going to be covered by probably on Sunday Marshawn Lattimore,
who that goes pretty nicely into my next point. We only allowed 1 catch last week versus the Panthers. So
you see, the thing is, what they do is every team's got. There's no team out there that's got 2 amazing corners, or everyone's got 1 brilliant corner and 1 okay. So that's why when every team. I would say every team's got a star receiver. So that's what they do. They just put the great corner on the star receiver and you don't throw to him.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to take the Vikes here. I'm going to take the Vikes and, of course, the -3.
Okay, I'm just trying to think if I'm going to write that down, because I've gone through essentially 4 different variations of how to record our picks. I think this is the best way. It's just notes for me. Don't you worry. I'm just rambling. Saints defense as a whole only allowed 170 passing yards and an 83.8 rating. And that was against Baker Mayfield. And 67 of those yards were on 1 play. It was a screen pass to Laviska Shenault, who did pretty much all of the work. It was after the catch. So I don't give too much. It's not like it was a bomb downfield and they missed the coverage, that kind of thing. It was just good blocking, good scheming, that kind of thing, and speed from Shenault. So I think the Saints defense was relatively okay last week against the putrid offense with Carolina. But Jameis Winston's back is still an issue, and it's depleted offense who are now down slant by again. Tre'Quan Smith,
Please call him Michael Thomas.
Okay, Michael Thomas. I just think similar issues from last week are going to be apparent again. And for that reason, I'm going to take the Vikings, and I am going to take the -3 just.
Did you not promise me you were betting this week?
I will. I will put a bet on this week. Mm-hmm.
Don't take this in your... If you're putting it on as a... Don't take this one. Because obviously, you don't want to be sitting there and your bet's knackered after, before the 6 o'clock.
After 2:30, yeah.
So what I normally do is, if in this situation, there is a backup, but...
Okay. So if you like this week is Scorching 7, but officially it's Scorching 6.
Yes. Anyway, let's go.
You're feeling flush with your money. All right, let's keep going. This is a game. Browns at Falcons. Browns win. Should we keep going?
It's a Scorching 6.
Oh, it's Scorching 6. All right then.
Browns -1.
It's 1. Okay. Well, let's get to the analysis. I think that we're both in agreement about this. Jacoby Brissett's been way, way better than anybody could have expected through 3 weeks.
But he's played to his strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Use the running backs and play good defense, and then obviously I'll make short throws.
Yeah,
that's your game. Don't try and fix what's not broken.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes down to it, I keep pounding this thing. It was the Browns are 1:55 and an all-time collapse away from being 3-0 right now. Could you imagine the talk? Do you know what I mean? If the Browns were 3-0 alongside the Dolphins and in the AFC and the Eagles as the undefeated teams in the league, there would be a lot of chaos going about.
I am glad they're not 3-0.
So am I.
Because they go 3-0 and it's all of a sudden they're winning the Super Bowl. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think they're gonna be 7-3.
Yeah.
Or 7-4, sorry, by the time Deshaun Watson comes back. And then that forces the coaches to make a decision.
Yeah. I just think if Brissett's rolling and he keeps going, we keep saying this, if he keeps rolling, it's not as if you're paying Deshaun Watson a load of money to just sit on the bench. You know what I mean? I just feel like if Brissett's rolling, the team's rolling, the chemistry's going to keep getting built through the next couple of weeks. And I'm sure he doesn't think he's anybody's backup.
No, of course.
So, I think that the distraction, it throws off the chemistry. Deshaun Watson comes back in. I just think you keep rolling with Brissett. And that's the crazy thing. But because Deshaun Watson's only getting 1 million, I say only, that'd be nice. I just feel like it's you're not going crazy with your investment about it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and the thing is as well, all you're really doing is, well, why not just protect Deshaun Watson? Leave him for a season, and then you have him back pre-season, and then you go next season with him.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, this is good for Jacoby Brissett. He's there as a 1-year project.
Yeah.
Which means he's putting himself in the shop window. Because I know he's been there before, but Indianapolis could be looking for a quarterback. Washington could be looking for a quarterback. I mean, if Lamar doesn't want to play franchise tag, Baltimore will be looking for a quarterback. So there is. I mean, he's out there saying, "Look, lads, I'm here. Come and get me."
Up there with like Jimmy Garoppolo, free agency in 2023. So it's interesting. He had a 109.6 passer rating versus the Steelers, 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that's just what you want from this guy.
Exactly.
As much as I think this is the Browns, it's a lot of murky water involved. It's very not a nice organization. And how the perception of them has changed. Like, I think everybody's seen them as the lovable losers, and you just want the Browns to do well, but then they go and make this move that they've made, and you're not a fan. But I'm pulling for Brissett. I really do hope that he can keep this going, and if the Browns decide to move forward with Watson, which will make sense. I'm pulling for Brissett and hope he makes the bank next year and gets to start somewhere.
Yeah, he will.
I think so. In kind of news to this game, the Browns might not have Myles Garrett. He flipped his car earlier this week. This is a really horrible accident. Rainy road, swerved out the way to avoid an animal. And
well, you saw what he done to Rudolph.
Yeah.
That's the meme that's flying a bit.
I was going to say maybe it was a sleeper agent put there by Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, that's the meme that's flying around.
I mean, we can joke about this because he's fine. He left hospital the same day, non-life-threatening injuries, and his passenger was fine as well. So, it's not. I think it's too soon. You know what I mean? I don't believe in too soon anyway, for one thing. But.
No, as I say, I don't think this will really matter to Cleveland. I think they've got a decent enough defense. So I'm going to go Browns win.
I think that AJ Terrell had a good bounce back game versus Seattle last week. He had a rough first 2 weeks, but only allowed 5 catches. He was matched up with DK Metcalf and only allowed 5 catches. And he had 3 pass breakups. This was in about 11 or 12 targets, I think it was. So it was good. But outside of that, the Falcons' defense was pretty bad. If you take away the fourth quarter last week, Geno Smith, who's as conservative as it gets, had 325 passing yards and a 99.1 rating. I think this comes down to the Falcons' run game versus the Browns' run defense.
Exactly.
And the Browns' run defense has just been phenomenal. You know, Najee Harris was frustrated all night on Thursday night. Falcons' run game. Cordero Patterson had, I think, another 100 yards.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting. I think this could be closer than you think. But I am going to take. I think one is just. It just seems crazy. You don't really see that many 1 point different games. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Browns to win and -1, and you're the same.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Here's a good one this week. Bills at Ravens, and the Bills have a pretty devastated secondary. They've got no Micah Hyde, who's out for the season with a neck injury, and we hope he's okay. But the way they pointed it sounded pretty sinister. They said he's done for the season, and we hope he's going to be back for 2023. And with neck injuries, there's no point taking a risk. I would not like to see this with Micah Hyde. Is that there could be touch wood, but he could be done.
This is another Scotcher.
Oh my goodness, 3 in a row.
Ravens +3.
Okay.
Lamar is on fire right now.
Yeah, he leads the league in touchdowns. He had 4 last week.
You know,
5 in total, I think. So
Buffalo are not untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think last week Miami showed how you stop Buffalo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You bottle up Stephon Diggs. And I think the Ravens secondary's been picking off quarterbacks for fun.
Yep, it is really good. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus
and
Peters.
Josh Allen sometimes likes to use Stephon Diggs a bit too much for my liking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the receivers are elite. You know, well, not elite, like, you know, a Devontae Adams or, you know, that sort of bracket.
Yeah.
But, you know, Rashad Bateman's playing well. J.K. Dobbins is back. Devin Duvernay's there. Mark Andrews is there.
Yep.
Lamar can run. So, I mean, there's enough of an argument for me. I think defeat last week, I think, could see the Bills hit a wee bit of a downward spiral.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They could potentially be 2-2 after this week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, Mark Andrews has been definitely on fire. And, you know, I feel like everybody in the stadium knows where Lamar wants to throw it, and nobody can stop it. 89 yards on 8 catches and 2 touchdowns last week. Phenomenal. And, you know, as I say, Rashad Bateman and Devin Duvernay have been really, really good as well. We were worried before the season started, who's Lamar going to throw to? Who's Lamar going to go throw to? But it's worked out fine. He's been fine. And, you know, he leads the league in touchdowns. My concern is he's been sacked 4 times. But he is, I feel like any other quarterback that could be a few more considering he's he's so agile and could run about. Greg Rousseau for the Bills has 1 sack in each game through 3 weeks so far. So interesting. But I am going to take the. I've got to take the Ravens to win. I'm just thinking about the spread here. It was +2 Ravens, wasn't it?
Well, if you've got the Ravens to win, then they'll cover the spread.
Yeah, I'm talking rubbish. Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually joining you there.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is the best game of the 6 p.m. window. Is it on Sky Sports Packers?
No, it's not.
No, is it not?
No, they've got the game this week. 6 o'clock game is the Jags.
Oh, right, okay.
And the 9 o'clock game is Broncos Raiders.
Ah, right, okay. Commanders at Cowboys.
I hope Micah Parsons battles the hell out of Carson Wentz. Knowing my luck, he's going to throw for about 700 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's going to be phenomenal this week. You just know that.
Yeah, Sod's Law.
But
I just realised my microphone's all the way over here. You been hearing me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Washington's a bad offensive line. A bad team as well, technically, apart from that, maybe that front 7 of the defense. But, I mean, Cooper Rush, again, he's in the same bracket as Brissett.
Yeah. He's filled in excellently for Dak so far. 2-0. He went 21 for 31, 215 yards in a score last week. So what more can you ask from your backup QBs?
That's it. All you want from backups is keep us in games and try and win a couple. That's it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play Dak. Dak could be back this week, which it's very difficult because if Dak's back, does Cooper Rush sit?
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't play Dak this week.
No, my logic. I agree with you. My logic behind that is you see what happened to Russell Wilson. Now, it was a different finger, but last year when Russell Wilson returned from the finger injury, he was rubbish. I think he was shut out for the first time in his career against the Packers. So, I think you don't rush Dak back. Cooper Rush has been doing pretty well. And you just get Dak healthy and ready to make a playoff push.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do.
I
mean, not much to say about Washington, to be honest. They've been pretty poor.
Yeah, I think last week their run defense was pretty good, and this was against one of the best run offenses in the league. They only allowed 2.4 yards per carry. It was 30 carries for 72 yards combined. So all the running backs and Jalen Hurts and on the other side,
couldn't stop them throwing it. And
that's true. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's dangerous that we know how good the Eagles were running the ball last year, and obviously that identity has continued. But now they feel comfortable throwing it with the guys they've got, and Jalen Hurts has clearly made the developments they're happy with. So, I think this Cowboys pass rush could be a different story. I think that they're going to have to find the perfect balance of running and passing to deal with this Cowboys defense. I think Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence have both been really, really good. The Cowboys had 5 sacks and 12 hits on Daniel Jones through 37 dropbacks on Monday night, and Carson Wentz was sacked 9 times. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've got the Cowboys winning. What about you?
The Cowboys.
Yeah, we're in agreement. 5 for 5 so far. How are we doing for time? Right, we'll get one more.
Yes.
Let's do it. All right, Seahawks at Lions. This is a sneaky, interesting game to me. I like this one.
Very. I mean, it's not a Scorching Six. But the Lions are like -4.5.
Who would have seen that a year ago? Do you know what I mean?
The Lions are actually I'm actually enjoying watching them.
They're a fun watch for sure. They're really, really fun. No DeAndre Swift, I think, is just going to be no problem. Jamal Williams has been excellent in relief. Last week he had 87 yards and 2 touchdowns on 20 carries, and he is the most claimed player on fantasy football this week because DeAndre Swift will probably be out for this game. I think it's like for sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I'm just going to say, Jared Goff is playing to Jared Goff's strengths, which is I don't have many, but I've got a decent receiving core. I've got a decent running backs. My defense is there to keep me in games. So let's see how this goes. I mean, it's not been the most interesting thing in the world. You know, Lions have been very, very interested. Seattle's not been. You know, this is really strange. The Lions are favoured, and I'm taking the Lions. I can't even think of a reason why the Lions wouldn't win this game.
Yeah, I think the only reason they wouldn't win this game is if they Lions it like they so often do. But I think the concern about this one is the Lions pass rush only got Cousins once last week, despite pressuring him on 39.1% of dropbacks, and Aiden Hutchinson was just really a passenger. I don't even think he hit Cousins. Now that Vikings offensive line isn't amazing, but it is better than the Seahawks offensive line. Geno Smith was sacked twice versus Atlanta, so I think it's a sneaky good game. I think that the Seahawks offense kind of got rolling a little bit versus Atlanta, and this is a similar defensive story. I think that you know the Lions have they've lost Tracy Walker for the season. At safety, he was a team captain, so that's a big loss. Jeff Okudah's been excellent last couple of weeks, clamped down Justin Jefferson last week, so really, really interesting matchup. I think this is a sneaky good one. I'm going to take the Lions to win as well, because I don't quite trust the Seahawks offense. You know, they got things moving, but I'm not too sure that they've put up enough. You know, outside of maybe three quarters over the season, the Seahawks offense has been good. Well, that's 40 no, less than that. 25% of the quarters so far throughout the season is just not good enough. So I'm going to take the Lions to win. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Lions, yep.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a short break, and when we're back, we'll dive into the Chargers at Texans game. All right then, so we're back. Chris is back from his prior engagement, and we are ready to return. We're going to talk Chargers at Texans. Now, this is a weird one.
This is a very strange game because without Justin Herbert being 100%, like obviously last week we all know I obviously went for Justin Herbert to do the Chargers, and he sort of didn't.
Yep.
Davis Mills has actually been okay. Like he's actually he's been Davis Mills is Davis Mills. He's not gonna set the world on fire. He's not gonna win MVP awards. But he's doing what I think the majority of NFL fans expected from him, and that's the main thing. You know,
I know with the situation that they're in. I mean, he's only really got Brandon Cooks now. Dameon Pierce is coming alive, but I think it's still going to take a couple of weeks for him to really get things figured out and you know, to become that guy, that back that you can kind of depend on. And when Davis Mills can't connect with Brandon Cooks, you can see he struggles. You know, last week, 2 catches for 22 yards, and he kind of forced the ball. There was the pick. Like that bounced up. It was basically at the 1 yard line. It bounced up, and then it was picked by Eddie Jackson, maybe. And then obviously, I don't know if Brandon Cooks was intended receiver on the pick to Roquan Smith, which essentially ended the game. But at the same time, you could say the Texans came within 3 points of beating the Bears. So
yeah, I mean that was a tough watch last week for a Texans fan.
for a fan of football, to be fair.
I mean, but I think if it was one of those things where we could access any game, we wouldn't have been watching that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we'd have picked something else. But I just think that the Chargers have to. I think they're going to have to go with it, because I think last week the problem was Justin Herbert knew I can't throw this thing.
Yeah,
So
he was. I think he threw the ball 21, 20 or 40 times, but only connected in his 20s. I don't have the exact numbers here, but he's 297 yards, a touchdown, a pick, and a 74 passer rating. So it wasn't pretty, but just like we were saying, it's all part of the core, and the guy couldn't even tense his core. Do you know?
Yeah, and I think this week though, having the Texans is a bit better for them. I think they can run the ball a bit. I think Austin Eckler this week's going to have a big game. I hope Keenan Allen has an absolute stinker. But no, I think this could be I think that this again could be another tough watch for NFL fans. I think the Texans aren't exactly setting the world on fire, and the Chargers without Justin Herbert 100% is not going to do anything magical either. So, based on all that, I'm going to go a Chargers win, but it's going to be quite low scoring.
Yeah. Mike Williams only had 1 catch on 6 targets last week, so he would really benefit from Keenan Allen coming back. But was it a hamstring injury for Keenan Allen?
I think so, yeah, because it pushed them off in week 1 early, week 2 early.
So a pass catcher coming
week one.
A pass catcher coming back from a leg injury of any kind, really, the first week is never superb. And then with the quarterback, obviously, not 100%. I don't even know if the boy's at 50%, to be honest.
I don't know. I think they're obviously going to.
What?
They're going to start Justin Herbert. There's no doubt about that. But if I was Brandon Staley, I'd be looking at going, right, it's the Texans this week, no disrespect, but let's just go with Chase Daniel.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not for us to make that decision.
Exactly. I think there was a lot of heat as to why Justin Herbert finished the game last week. He's a competitor and he wants to be out there with his guys, but you got to wonder, especially when obviously Rashawn Slater torn biceps tendon, he's done for the year. No Rashawn Slater in this game could be a big game changer. The Texans got to Justin Fields 5 times last week and sacked him 5 times and hit him 9 times. So, with the all-world left tackle not in the game, with a quarterback that's already feeling a bit of, pressure in terms of he's sore and he wants to not be sore. It is a recipe for disaster. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the Chargers to win, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Texans managed to sneak this, just with how obliterated the Chargers are, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, I am going to take the Chargers to win. All right, then. We'll keep rolling. We're running the hurry-up offense. Titans at Colts. This is a real ham and egger, this one.
Have I gone for this? Is this a scorcher? I think this is actually a scorcher. Give me 2 wee seconds. It is a scorcher.
All right, then.
Titans +3.
Titans underdogs in this one, right? Okay.
Titans +3. I think Derrick Henry last week showed what Derrick Henry is.
Yeah, I mean, he got rolling last week. He had 20 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown. It's not superb, but with him, kind of struggling the first couple of weeks, it's good that the Tennessee Titans got him back to, the focal point of their offense.
Yeah, I think last week was a strange week. I think the Colts, nobody expected them to turn over the Chiefs. And is this now the start of the Matt Ryan run to the Super Bowl and then lose? Who knows? But I just think there's too many. There's too many. Like, what I like to do is I like to match up players. So I'll go Matt Ryan, Tannehill. Well, I think Tannehill's better in the system he's in.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Right. I think I'm going to go. I think that Derrick Henry's better than Jonathan Taylor. That's my personal opinion. And I think that the receivers and tight end for the Titans are better than the Colts. That's just my personal opinion. I think defense is pretty equal.
Yeah.
So
the Colts defense only allowed 2.6 yards per carry versus the Chiefs. Now, it's a different animal working against Derrick Henry, but it's a good look at it.
Yeah, I mean, why can't? But what do we say though about stopping the run game? You fill the box, you stop them running. Well, if the Titans So if the Colts defense fills the box and stops Henry, then the law of averages is you fill the box and you stop Taylor, and then you force Matt Ryan and Tannehill to throw to their respective men. I think Tannehill's more accurate. And Ryan Tannehill's also got a wee bit of legs.
Matt Ryan's a statue, you know.
So based on everything I've said there, I'm going to go Titans to win. And I think because of the +3's there.
Yeah, Titans, yep. So my kind of last couple bits of analysis here. Matt Ryan gets sacked 5 times and was hit 10 times against the Chiefs. Now, that's a decent pass rush, but it's clear now that the Colts' offensive line isn't what it used to be. And I think that's what is leading to Jonathan Taylor not really going. He was all right last week. I think he had about 15 carries and 70-odd yards, but it's not what you expect. You know, these two, this is a matchup of basically the 2 best running backs in the league, and neither of them have got rolling to what we expect of them so far through the first 3 weeks. So that's a concern. And on the other side is, you know, Matt Ryan had Michael Pittman back last week. And the Tennessee Titans shut down Devontae Adams last week. He had 5 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown. Now, if the Titans defense can shut down Devontae Adams, I think they're going to have no problem shutting down Michael Pittman. And then that forces Matt Ryan to look elsewhere, and there just isn't anybody else. So I am going to agree with you. I'm going to take the Titans to win this one, and of course, +3. So we're even. We're 8 for 8 so far, I think.
I'm not enjoying this week. How am I supposed to claw it back?
Well, there's only one game in it, so I'm sure. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 coming up that we might split on, so we shall see. Okay. We shall see. All right. Oh no, this is the worst game of the week by far. Bears at Giants.
This is a scorcher.
Okay.
And I've got the Giants and my man Daniel on -4.
Okay.
Monday night, they were unlucky. They were a Trevon Diggs interception away from winning that game. The Bears' defense is very average. It's
apart
average.
from Roquan Smith, who had an amazing game last week, but I don't think that'll happen again.
Now, Justin Fields, they clearly don't trust him. Now, because they don't trust him, that means they're going to have to rely on the running game. Well, defensive coordinator Chris, fill the box, stop the run. It's pretty simple. If they're forced to throw it, he's going to throw picks. I think on the other side of the ball, Daniel Jones, he's not making mistakes this year that he has been making in past years. You know, he's not trying to force it to one guy, or you know, he is relying an awful lot this year on Saquon Barkley, but that's what you're meant to do.
That's okay. The guy's a jackknife. So
yeah, when you've got a star running back, you use him.
Did I say jackknife? I meant Swiss Army knife. Apologies.
Yeah. Machete. I thought we were just naming knives there.
Yeah.
That's too rough there. But you see, once you've done that, you see, there's no point in having a star running back and having them stand behind you. You know, I think the Giants were unlucky on Monday night, and I'm going to take the Giants to win, and the -4 is just. I think they're going to absolutely spank the Bears.
Right then. Now let me write that down. Giants -4. So
just put cover, not spank Bears.
Aye. Khalil Herbert can do a solid job if David Montgomery is absent or limited, and it sounds like he's going to be. I agree with you. Daniel Jones, especially on Monday night, is making better decisions this year. I don't think he's playing particularly well, but I think a lot of it is to do with the situation around him. But I will give him credit. He's making a lot of good decisions especially on Monday night when it came to tucking and running it. When it went off in his head, he was ready to go, and he picked up a few good first downs. And Saquon Barkley's been excellent. I think him being a focal point of the offense, kind of like Derrick Henry is in Tennessee, is the way forward for this Giants. Just pound the rock with Saquon and you can have success. He had 14 carries and 81 yards and a touchdown versus the Cowboys, which is a good run defense. They stack the box. They've got names in there pretty well. So I think it comes down to which defense you trust more. The Giants defense is the Bears defense is a bit better. That being said, I'm going to take the Giants to win this as well because of how unconvincing the Bears were last week. The Texans have it out as possibly the worst team in the league, and that I think that is down to just no luck. Like I say no luck. The roster isn't great, right? Aside from Brandon Cooks, and we're still waiting to see what we're going to see with Dameon Pierce and Derek Stingley and the like. What else do you really have up there? And just by only just beating them off a field goal, they don't trust Justin Fields, like you say. They don't want him to throw it. So I'm going to take the Giants to win this, but I am going to take the Bears to cover here.
Okay.
So Bears cover. So that's kind of our first deviation. But yeah, I think it'll be a field goal win. There is some fun about this, though. The NFL's allowing players to wear flags on their helmets of their heritage. So Kyler Murray is wearing a South Korea flag on his helmet alongside the American one because his mum's Korean. I hope Graham Gano wears a... What's that?
That must be why he's so short then.
Yep, there you go.
That's short.
Now, fingers crossed Graham Gano wears a Scotland flag on his helmet.
Yeah, well, we'll not see it though if it's a blue helmet.
True. Well, who knows? We'll see. I'm gonna find it out, and if we do it,
They might make him put a Union Jack on for UK.
Sorry, I ate something pretty bad there.
That vegan food is awful.
Not you too.
No, I had vegan chocolate the other day.
There you go.
It was all right. It was a free sample in Asda. I'm not going to turn it down.
The where it's at now is like, people always say, do you miss bacon? I'm like, well, I never actually really liked bacon before I stopped, for one thing, but vegan bacon is legit now. Like, compared to what it used to be, it is damn good. Anyway, that's for another podcast.
Yes.
Jags, Eagles. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show it right here. I got this. I ordered this the other week because he's the man. Hell yeah. Jalen Hurts. I replaced his jersey. I had his jersey from his rookie year when he wore number 2. But I've donated that to charity. And now I've got this one, which is happy. I'm sure that's not going to come back to bite me in like week 12 when the Packers play the Eagles and Jalen Hurts throws for 581 yards and 6 touchdowns.
I hate this game. I absolutely hate this game because I have a fantastic strategy, which is pick the other team and the Jags will win. I've quite liked that strategy so far this year. This is Sky for one have picked the best game.
Yeah, this,
in my opinion, was when we started this at the start of the season, and you boarded the Jalen Hurts hype train. I said, let's see how he is after about week 6. And he's on. What do you call it? He's on the. What was I saying? He's doing. He's played well so far, but he hasn't really played any competition. This is the first time that a decent defense is coming. And if the Jags defense can get to him and get the ball back to Trevor Lawrence and help Trevor Lawrence, then they can win. I think Christian Kirk, how does he help Trevor Lawrence? Well, he gives him somebody to throw to.
But a star in fantasy, so
I mean, this could be a very, very interesting game. I'm actually going to go for the Jaguars to beat the Eagles.
Oh, that's a big one. Are you going to lock it up? Come on.
No, I'm not locking it up. I've got a lock. I've actually got a lock.
All right.
So, my lock's one of the Scorchers.
Oh, right. Okay, then. Jaguars to win there. Right. I think Jalen Hurts.
give him a doing now.
Well, we'll see if your hypothesis is true after this week. Then, you know, if the Eagles mop the floor with them, then your power is more realistic than you thought. So you just sacrifice the one game every week.
Yeah.
And the Jags win the Super Bowl. It's that simple. Right. So my analysis for this game is I think that Jalen Hurts is probably just behind Lamar Jackson in the MVP race right now. He continues to outdo his performances every week. You know, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, 123.5 passer rating last week against the Commanders. Now, yeah, it's the Commanders, but you still need to do it when the ball's in your hands. And he's balling out, and I'm loving it. Just because I'm right more than anything, saying I saw this 2.5 years ago. Jalen Hurts is going to be a star in this league based off nothing. The guy, it was a guess, right? But now I can say for sure the guy is legit, right? I love him so much. I actually even got, I think I said this before, I do have his Oklahoma jersey as well. That's how much I rate him. Now, on the other quarterback in this game, he's a sneaky, his stock for MVP is rising as well. Back-to-back superb games. We say Jalen Hurts is outdoing his performances week after week. Trevor Lawrence is doing it as well. He was all right in week 1, very good in week 2, and very good in week 3. And, 3 touchdowns. It just seems to be working for Trevor Lawrence this year.
In my opinion, the Jaguars are Zay Jones having super glue on his fingers away from being 3-0.
There you go.
Because I think I mailed you on that the night of the week 1. I said, can somebody put super glue on his fingers?
Yeah.
No. But we're going to go with my hypothesis, but I'm taking the Jags this week. I think somebody has to stop the Eagles, and why can't it be the Jags?
Absolutely. When you look at what the Jags defense just did to Justin Herbert, they held him to 6.6 yards per attempt and a 74 rating. They sacked him once, hit him 4 times, and pressured him 8. And Eagles, and then on the other defense, Eagles defense is coming off a 9-sack performance. So it's a really, really stacked, on paper, the rosters are pretty much evenly matched, and this is definitely the best game of the early slate, and probably the week. Thinking about it, I'm going to take the Eagles to win this, just because I'm still on the Jalen Hurts hype train, because he's not giving me a reason not to yet. But I think that Doug Peterson coming back to the Eagles for the first time is going to play a factor in this. I think it will be close. I think this will be the Eagles' toughest test so far, but I think they'll pull it out the bag.
Okay.
Let's keep going. All right, Jets, Steelers. Mitch has got to be on a short leash this week. 207 yards, 6.5 yards per attempt, and an 81.1 rating last week. Not good.
No, this is the game. This is the game to save his Steelers career. If they struggle this week and he struggles this week, Kenny Pickett better get his uniform on.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's actually it's the only bad thing in this podcast is we discuss all the games because we have to discuss the crap.
Yeah, this is a real ham and egger, this one.
And you know what? I'll go for it. I'm going to take the Steelers to win, but there's nothing more really to say about it.
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson's meant to come back this week, the dog of the week. Do you know why he won it this week? He's obviously won the award again.
Go for it.
It's because he slept with his mum's best pal. This
guy is just, this guy's won more MVPs than Tom Brady's got rings.
He got that dog in him. I agree with you. I think this is a crapshoot game. There's not really much to talk about. The Steelers defense is now 0-6 without TJ Watt, who will not play in this game. The Jets' offensive line is kind of a revolving door, but when the Steelers can't get past, a revolving door, it provides a matchup for the offenses, and I just think that right now the Jets' offense has shown more grit and explosiveness than the Steelers' offense with Mitch at the helm.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the Jets here.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy with that. And it's good to see. It'll be good to see how far Zach Wilson has come through the through the off season and coming back to health. So we've got that, but nothing much else to say. That's a bit of a meh game. All right, Cardinals at Panthers.
This is a scorcher.
All right then.
I have the Cardinals plus 1.5.
Cardinals are underdogs in this one.
Yeah.
All right then.
Plus 2.
Plus 2.
Cards plus 2.
Okay.
Kyler Murray is better than Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
The receivers for the Cardinals are better than the receivers for the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
James Conner and CMC are pretty evenly matched.
Mm-hmm.
The defenses, again, pretty evenly matched. I think Brian Burns is JJ Watt, and then the rest are all the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking the Cardinals to win. I think Kyler Murray has to at least go 3-3 without DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To give him a chance.
Mm-hmm. And is this your lock as well, you say?
Yes, this is the lock.
This is your lock. I'm trying to draw a picture of a lock, and it's not going very well.
I'll show you my artwork that I did at school today.
This looks like a Beyblade with a broken ring, so I'm not sure what went wrong there.
I like Beyblade when I was growing up.
So good, man. My mum gave all mine away because I stopped playing with them for years, and it's only then I realized how much they would be worth. It's upsetting. But then we went to I was at the dentist one day, and we went to a charity shop afterwards and found a load that had been donated. So we snapped them up, but they were like 99p. It was in like a lunch box. There was like 8 of them in there. It was great. And then I started ordering them from Taiwan. So I got them at my mum's house. But that's for another podcast. Maybe another one that like a childhood throwback podcast. Chris, maybe that's your thing. You should make a podcast about that.
No, well, I need a co-host.
Yes, well, I mean, there is somebody that is here, you know.
Oh well,
I mean,
about.
Right, back to this game.
Yes.
This is actually the only American football podcast in the world which has ever mentioned Beyblades before. So
yes,
we've got that. we're a record. All right, so two very rough offenses duking it out this week. Mayfield and Murray is actually an interesting QB matchup, though. I think were they teammates? No, they both went to Oklahoma.
Both went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Both Heisman winners, and they both went number 1 in back-to-back years.
That's it. That's the one.
They played each other before.
Mm-hmm.
One was in Cleveland, and Kyler Murray spanked him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I now know what you're going to say. Baker had a sore arm. Well, tough. You're in the NFL, toughen up.
Yeah. Kyler Murray had a 77.8 passer rating last week against the Rams, which were more of like a bend, don't break defense. They weren't outstanding. And the Panthers pass rush only had 1 sack on Jameis Winston and 42 dropbacks. Now that's a worry for me. A guy that won't be mobile at all. And it's not as if the Saints pass rush has set the world. The Saints offensive line has set the world alight this past couple of weeks. So it's a rough one. I suppose the only we said the Panthers defense kind of ground out that win for them last week. JC Horn was very good. He only allowed 2 catches for 29 yards and had a pick. So he'll go against whoever really is number 1, probably Chris Olave, because Michael Thomas hasn't practiced for the second day in a row, and neither has Jameis Winston for that matter. So it'll be.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Panthers were playing the Cardinals, so why the hell's Chris Olave being matched up to JC Horn?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Who are the Saints actually playing?
The Saints are playing the Vikings in London. With discussed that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm off my head.
Right. Let me tell you what you should have said.
Yes, I know. JC
Horn will match up against Marquise Brown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then the number 2 receiver is going to probably be Dortch.
Mm-hmm. Greg Dortch. I do know football.
Number 3 is going to be Zach Ertz.
Probably get a linebacker on him.
Yeah, so...
Oh, that's a rough showing from me. What a clanger.
Yeah, luckily you can edit that bit out.
Do I deserve to be punished? I think I do. We'll see.
That's backable.
Yeah, I've taken a 30-yard sack on fourth and 1 at the goal line right there. So that was bad.
And then you've had the field goal blocked and turned into 7.
Yeah, I've gone the other way. Yeah. Okay, so bounce back from this one. I need to bounce back with picking this, and I'm gonna take the Cards to win and cover here as well.
Okay, that's the Scorching Six finished.
Yes. Okay, Scorching Six finished there.
The one that replaces the 2:30 game is coming up though.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna put a bet on this week. So we're pretty much similar aside from the Bears covering. So let's see if you're right. I'm putting on a $5. So let's do it. All right then. Next game on the slate is Patriots heading up to Lambeau to face the Green Bay Packers. Now, I want to say this is obviously if you're watching, you might be able to tell I'm a Packers fan. Now, I really this is a litmus test for the Packers here. I think that there's going to be another punch in the mouth to the offense. I think that the pattern seems to be they get punched in the mouth and they can't respond, and then they're thrown off course. Matt LaFleur deviates from the game plan, and it all goes tits up for them. Now, I want to see if they can respond to anything like that. It's favorable conditions. It's going to be probably cold. It's at home. The Patriots are likely going to be without Mac Jones, who has a high ankle sprain. They say he's going to play, but I think that's Bill Belichick just playing mind games. I don't think there's any chance Mac Jones can play in this one, especially in what's likely to be the cold.
Do you want the line?
Go for it's 10.5 or something, isn't it?
10.5. That is just mental.
Yeah, it's so the Packers should destroy the Patriots here, right? Let's not mess around. But Aaron Rodgers said earlier, I think this was yesterday, he said, with my pen. Well, that's not what he said, but that's what I said. He said that Bill Belichick coaches the defense really, really well, and he aims to take away what they're good at. Now, this should theoretically be the run game, but if the Packers pass offense can get off to a start like they did last week against the Bucs, I think that they could race out into a big enough lead and not have to worry, really, because I don't think Brian Hoyer is going to be able to do much with this Patriots offense.
I don't. Because just based on fantasy, obviously you've took Keenan Allen from me.
Mm-hmm.
There is a free agent available in Randall Cobb, so I don't know.
Okay.
But obviously he has his targets who he likes, so...
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Packers to absolutely smack them.
Yep. So, do you want to give a score on this one? I think we should.
This could be like 40 odd points.
Yeah, I'm going to say Packers 34, Patriots 13. That's a good one.
They're getting touchdowns.
This is my point, right? Okay, so the Packers' pass defense has been pretty good, right? It was good last week. They only allowed Tom Brady to have 6.5 yards per attempt, and he had a touchdown, but it was right at the end. They came up clutch on the 2-point conversion. Devondre Campbell getting a hand up. The Patriots' O-line has allowed 31.4% pressure rate and 3 sacks versus the Ravens, and the Packers D got to Brady 3 times, which was a better offensive line. I think the Patriots could excel if they go to their run game. It looked good. The Bears look good running the ball against the Packers on Sunday Night Football week 2, and Ramondre Stevenson has been pretty solid through 3 weeks. He had 73 yards and a touchdown on 12 carries last week. So I think that the Patriots can stay around in this game and give the Packers a scare if they stick to the run game, and I think that's where it comes from. I think I'm gonna take 34-13. I think the Packers offense figures things out this week and gets rolling. What about you? Do you want to give a score?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go very high here. I'm going to go 41-3. I think this is going to be a kicking.
Yeah. Let's hope so. I'd love that. That'd be a statement. Our offense is good. Our offense is great.
Then you go with the Patriots defense. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So
the line that covers it, I'm going to be surprised if you don't fall off your chair.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right.
You want the next game, or
we'll go for a quick break, and when we're back, we'll finish off with the last of the late Sunday game. Then we'll Sunday night football and Monday night. We'll get out of here. So Broncos at Raiders. Is this the week? Surely this is the week the Raiders figure something out.
Well, they're the favourites by 3 points.
So if you're scorching 7 here.
Yeah, it's the Broncos +3, Raiders -3. I don't know. It's because it has to work eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
You went through all stages of despair right there.
I know, because you know how much I love Derek Carr.
Mm. I think that, so the Denver pass defense pretty much shut down Jimmy Garoppolo last week. They had a pick and only allowed him to have an 81.2 passer rating. On top of that, is the coverage was so well, he couldn't. He ran out the back of his own end zone essentially.
Yeah.
Now, some people have been saying, how at the back of the end zone it says "end racism" right there. Jimmy Garoppolo's foot went on the word racism. So I think Jimmy Garoppolo's actually putting his foot down against racism with that move. So kudos to him. Good move. That's a side thing, but
as long as he didn't, maybe put his foot on racism so that it read "end." This is the end.
End, yeah.
I think Denver will win it.
Yeah,
I do. I think Denver will win it +3. I think Sky have picked the game, probably the best game in the bunch, really, the late window.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't want to watch a one-sided blowout in Lambeau.
Yeah.
you can't have the Cardinals because it's 9:05.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have that one.
Yeah. So it's such a strange one because you feel like the Raiders should win this really well, but the Broncos defense is kind of keeping them afloat. I mean, they're top of the AFC West right now because of this. Now, they are struggling to get their big-time pass catchers involved. Devontae Adams and Darren Waller had about 7 catches between them last week.
Yeah.
Against who were they playing last week? The Titans. It's against that defense. Do you know what I mean? So it's a problem. And on the other side, Russell Wilson invites a lot of pressure. I mean, he was sacked 4 times last week versus San Francisco, and they still haven't scored over 16 points. So it's a concern to me. I don't think that the Broncos have the offensive firepower because they keep shooting themselves in the foot. They still keep beating themselves with these problems on offense. Flags, delayed games. Russell Wilson's not really playing too great. So I think that the Raiders are going to win this one. I think finally they get things moving.
Right, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, all right then. Sunday night football, Mahomes v. Brady. Now, Hurricane Ian has forced the Buccaneers to practice in Miami this weekend. We hope everybody is okay. But as a contingency plan, the game could be at US Bank Stadium in Minnesota.
Which is going to be very different.
It's a different atmosphere. It's indoors, which both teams play outside, so it's different. It's different for them.
I'm working Sunday night, so obviously I'll catch it.
I'm going to catch it because I don't work till late on Monday, so happy days.
Residents will be told get to bed and don't annoy me. this is a strange game. I think that the Chiefs last week they have to rebound this week because of obviously last week.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they've got better players than the Bucks. I think it's very even.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You can't really say so and so's better than so and so, and so and so's better than so and so, because where there's for every Brady and Mahomes, it's a coin flip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only real area I would probably say where the Bucks dominate is wide out.
Mm-hmm.
But wide out.
Yeah.
But then you flip that and you go, well, the Chiefs dominate in tight end.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I think with all the chaos, if the game has to be moved, all the uncertainty, having to practice technically away from home.
Yep.
You know, then potentially having to fly to Minnesota. Now, I know that so do the Chiefs, but the Chiefs were expected to fly anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You'll still jump on a plane, so you're just basically turning the plane the other way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with the Chiefs only because A, they have to rebound, and B, there's so much chaos with the Bucks.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, Mike Evans returns for Tampa Bay. Suspension is over now, but I think Russell Gage was a pretty good pinch hitter. He had 12 catches on 13 targets, 87 yards and a touchdown last week. I said this, Brady performed valiantly despite the situation, third string left tackle, that kind of thing. The Bucks defense, they blitzed Aaron Rodgers 41.7% of his dropbacks, but only sacked him once. Now that's a concern, but I think that could be diluted because the Packers were throwing it quickly. I think Aaron Rodgers averaged 2.9 yards per completion or something like that. So it's I think that sample size is too small because this Bucks defense is legitimately great. The pass rush is great. And I think this is the kind of game where you think that the Buccaneers defense could take over and kind of maybe carry the Bucks offense through this sort of tailspin they're going through right now.
Yep.
And I said this. We had Matthew Morrow on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He came into my work today, and I was speaking to him, and I said, I still think the Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl. I just think they're starting slow. We've seen this before. This happened in 2020. They started slow, and they get things moving towards the end of the season and things figured out. So I still think, when this is extreme, this is far end of the spectrum. I still think the Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl. So we've got that, but I am going to take the Chiefs to win here, and I'm gonna lock them up as well. I'm going to take Chiefs as my lock, mainly because outside of Mike Evans, I think the Buccaneers are shorthanded. Well, I know the Buccaneers are shorthanded at receiver, and when they're only allowing the Chiefs defense only had 6 yards per attempt from Matt Ryan, with a similar situation, kind of shorthanded at receiver, I could see it happening again. Obviously the Chiefs will have Noel Gay. He's still suspended, but I'm sure it will be fine, and Mahomes will best Brady. I think it's like this way. Mahomes kind of has Brady's number in the regular season, but when it really, really matters, Tom Brady comes out on top.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is a Super Bowl 55 rematch in the same stadium. Yeah, I've got the Chiefs winning, and it is my lock. All right, let's finish it up with Monday Night Football. Rams at 49ers.
I won't see this one. I'm not working Monday, so I'll need to watch the highlights before we discuss it. Not looking forward to it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think last week for both teams was disastrous.
Yep.
However, who's it the Seahawks have this week?
The Lions.
Now, how great would the NFC West look if the Hawks beat the Lions, the Cards beat the Panthers, and the 49ers beat the Rams?
Yeah, 2-2, everybody. So
all four teams 2-2. I think when the 49ers defense gets going, they're a nightmare to stop. I think Jimmy G last week was very, very poor. Don't worry, I'm not going to produce a ring.
Oh, why not?
Well, Terry right back in me.
She keeps pestering me for my ring, or for me to get her a ring right now.
Well, why did you propose in Lambo?
I have a plan. It's okay.
I know. I'll give you a better one than that, but I'll tell you off air. But I do think the 49ers I think they're going to win this one. I think the Rams last week got lucky that the Cardinals are bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that this week, 49ers always perform in these divisional games. 49ers to win.
Yeah. Now, the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number with this.
Well, of course,
with this matchup in the regular season, especially.
Yep.
The Rams' pass defense was pretty good last week. Kyler Murray threw 58 times and only managed 5.4 yards per attempt on a 77.8 rating. You don't really want to see the quarterbacks getting into really the high 30s when pass attempts. And to see 58, it's a they didn't get a touchdown. They only had 4 field goals, which is it's not good. The offense is in disarray. So I don't want to give them too much credit. I think the Cardinals' offense was probably too much. But when the Rams had to do what they had to do, they did it well. 49ers are going to be without Trent Williams, who has a high ankle sprain. And he's obviously one of the best in the league. Now, Aaron Donald had a sack and 3 pressures versus Kyler Murray, who's obviously very mobile. That could be, the Trent Williams injury could be more prominent when faced against Aaron Donald and a quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo who's not mobile. And obviously Jimmy G was sacked 4 times on 33 dropbacks against the Broncos. So,
well, I heard this week they're actually extending the field for Jimmy G.
Maybe so. Maybe they should. All that being said, yeah. I think that the 49ers, Jeff Wilson looked good last week. He's got some speed to him. I'm going to take the 49ers in a close one. And I think this will be closer than a lot of games between these two have been recently. Yeah. But I don't trust Matt Stafford to stop turning the ball over. I think the 49ers defense will punish them for that. So yeah. Good show. Good previous show. So that's it for us. Hope you enjoy week 4. We're getting close. I'm actually, before we go off, I'm going to give a bold prediction for tonight's game. So I've got it on record. I meant to do it when we were talking about the game at the very start, but I forgot. Dolphins, Bengals tonight. Tyreek Hill is going to have 200 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. Book it.
Have you bet on that?
I have not bet on that. I don't think you can.
Yeah, I thought you had bet on that. Just you can actually. Well, just while I've got you there. Tyreek Hill, you said 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns and 200 receiving yards against the Elite Apple.
Well, obviously, Tyreek Hill to score the first and the last touchdown is 100-1.
I'll take it. It's happening.
Tyreek Hill for a hat trick is 40-1.
I'll do that. I'll put my bet on for the Scorching Six, so I'll put the bet on for this as well.
Well, yeah, so that's us. And
so I'll wake up tomorrow morning with a little bit more money. Well, I say I wake up, I'm watching the game. So, but yeah, that's it from us.
I'm expecting a tap here. I'm the one giving you all these tips and odds.
Well, no, I would give you the tap if we agreed, but we are 5 for 6 on agreements in the Scorching Six. So, does that mean I give you 5/6 of my winnings? I don't know.
No, you didn't. No, let's just see how it goes. I always back the Scorching Six anyway every week.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's going to be a good week. Another good week of football. First London game in the books. So it's going to be a good one. Check out the podcast Facebook page, which is End of the Fourth Pod. You can check out us on Twitter, which is End of the Fourth, as in the number 4 TH Pod. The Instagram is the same, except instead of 4TH, it's the word fourth. Check out Let's Talk Sport on if you're watching the video show, you'll be on the we're actually on our YouTube channel now, but you can check out their YouTube channel also, and check them out on Twitter, which is at Let Talk Sport. Chris, as always, thank you very, very much.
No problem at all, mate.
And as for me, B-Hizzy, that'll be me signing off. Ciao for now.